Alright, are we recording? Yes, we are. Pull up. Jeez, I'm still getting used to this new phone. Damn. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm still getting used to this new phone, but, besides that, what's up, everybody? Maron13 here. Welcome back for part 1, since, part 0 was, you saw what it was when I posted it. It was part 0, but, let's just get into the video. Alright, so we last left our story off with Asta and getting ready to get to the whole Grimoire ceremony. Why can I not say it today? Which, to be fair, I have kind of been up all night, so maybe that's why. But, ceremony, there we go. Ceremony, Grimoire fuck. Let's just get on. The ceremony. We get to it, stuff like that. Well, on the way walking there, when they get close enough, the grimoire that Asta has Libe in starts glowing. It basically comes out the little pouch he already has it in, starts glowing, and as it opens up, a black mist comes out of it. And something lands on Asta's shoulder, that being Libe in a more chibi-like form. As this is when Asta and Libe both feel something on their arms, Asta's right, Libe's left, as they look to see a mark appear on it, wrapping around them. With Libe saying that now he feels like he could full-on leave the Grimoire. That he's pretty sure he can stay out of the Grimoire whenever he wants to now. And with that, Asta reaches inside the Grimoire to see if there's anything inside it, which he doesn't find the lacrima. He doesn't grab the lacrimos. Those only Libe could grab those. He's put them far down enough in the Grimoire where he can only really grab them right now. He does, however, grab something and feels a sword, but he decides not to pull it out since they're, out in the open still, and, as he does go in, he'll watch, as he gets his whole Grimoire, gets his Grimoire, the Fleur-de-Lis Clover descends down, yada yada, we know how this goes. Now then, with this, Asta both get ready to go out as they want to see if, got any boost to his Sky Dragon Slayer magic. While walking out, they end up getting corrupted by those mages, 2 royals who are pissed at with them shooting fire at him, with Asta eating it, with them being surprised as, like I said, Dragon Slayer and Dragon Magic on a whole is just on a different frequency of magic level. It would have to take, which, to go in more depth on it, it would have to take someone going, actively exuding a lot of energy, a lot of their magic for people who aren't Dragon Slayers to feel their normal magic. So, i.e., say, a Dragon Force, or something that's making their something that's forcing their magic to basically, what would be the right word? Swerve, convulse. There we go. Something that would be able to make their magic convulse enough to where it would be basically be able to feel it. So, basically, everyone else still seems magicless. So, except, who can feel just how much magic power Asta actually has, and also leech it up, because the Dragon Lacrima. But, besides that, Asta eats their final, Asta eats the fire, with, sending them away with a Sky Dragon's War, sending them flying. With this, though, they do get tracked by the Chain Mage, but that's almost quickly knocked away by Asta. With the Chain Mage coming up, saying how Asta's magic feels like there's nothing there, even though he can use it. Basically go over the whole, yada yada, you're weak. Their magic power is so weak that it can't even be filled. With this, Asta takes a deep breath, along with finally reaching into the Grimoire to grab what he felt. With him pulling out the Demon Slayer sword. God damn, it's too bright outside. Out here. Demon Slayer sword. As Asta starts going off a little. Basically, Asta starts saying what the narrator of the final episode said, the end of the first episode said how, luck, integrity, and hope reside in the first three clovers. No, luck resides in the fourth, and I can't remember the other one for the other three. But in the fifth, what Asta has, as Libe disappears into the smoke real quick, as his shadow appears behind Asta. What Asta telling him in the fifth, it reveals the devil, as Asta rushes forward with the sword catching his Dragon Slayer fire, catching on fire with Asta's, basically just destroying his magic, one with the sword, and two, as Libe tells Asta in his head to hit him with the blunt of the sword, smacking him upside the head, knocking him out cold. But walking up, asking Asta if that was really a good idea to tell him, with Asta telling him that he'll be so concussed he probably won't remember, and two, who would believe a grimoire thief? He might just be saying it out of fear because he got defeated so easily. Asta says, which, just a tidbit, if you didn't know, yes, Asta has some physical different appearance. Asta's a bit taller thanks to Ignil entering his body. Using magic to enter his body to stop the whole dragon thing. So, while Asta is taller, thanks to the combination of having more people that actively watch over him and teach him, he's way smarter in this timeline, too. And like I'm saying, since, the attention had to be divided in the orphanage, which led the kids to be able to grow on their own wild personalities themselves. Here, Asta and Yuno both had about, 5 different parent figures looking after them. That being Father Orpheus, Sister Lily, Lichida, Ignil, Grandina, hell, 6 if you want to count Libe, since he is older than them. So yeah, with multiple other people being able to watch him and teach him, I feel like, would be a little less colder. He's obviously less colder in this timeline, or has that less cold facade and shows his emotions more, while Asta is a lot smarter and, less stupid. So, yeah, those differences aside, they get back to Hodge Village. Well, first they take a trip to the house that they've been staying in, with them telling their mom, since, yes, sees Lichida as a mom, why wouldn't he after all of these years of her raising him? But even though he spent his first 5 years with Grandina, she did disappear when he was 13 and he's 15. Basically, yeah, he sees her as a mom. Basically, they go and tell their mom that they got their grimoires and stuff like that, tell them about their day, while walking down the Hodge Village to basically celebrate. Well, mainly to the orphanage to celebrate with all the kids in them. And Sister Lil, just happy times, which, again, no, if I didn't say in the part 0, Asta doesn't have a thing for Sister Lily. Again, for the reasons I mentioned already about having more people to look after him and him being smarter in this timeline. He isn't a dumbass, basically. Well, I guess not dumb, just more so really, really not that higher than average intelligence. Okay, but let's get on with it. So yeah, after that, celebrating stuff, a day later, Asta and Yuno are getting ready to make their move with Libe on Asta's shoulder. Yes, they're staying in the front of Hans Village, getting ready to leave, where you get ready to leave at. With Lichida telling the boy, basically doing the normal mother routine of making sure the boys make sure the boys know what to do, how to fight, how to cook. Basically just telling them to keep themselves together. But one of the final 2 things she tells us is make sure that to tell people that Libe is some type of weird familiar, and make sure that no one finds out he's a devil as well. That would end very badly for both of them. But also make sure that they keep their headbands on at all time. well, there are four things, I should say. Well, the one I just mentioned before, and again, to keep their headbands on at all time, make sure no one sees their ears as well. Again, would end up really badly for them, except instead of it just be Asta and Liebe, it'd be Asta, Yuno, and Liebe. Asta, Yuno as well. Again, while they're still not sure completely on if they're elves or not, knowing that the Clover Kingdom helped genocide them, well, knowing that the Clover Kingdom helped genocide them, Leech, even after all these years, still doesn't feel like still doesn't want their ears out just in case. Just since their ears are still pointed enough to where someone could tell, but like not as pointy as an elf, you know? Basically, it's the ultimate form of protection right now. Since it's also the reason why they let their hair grow out a bit more in this timeline too, to hide their ears, so no one asks questions. Like, why you have that headband on your head covering your ears? So, like, for Asta and they have, like, well, one, they have more hair in this timeline, as A, to help hide the ears, and two, a headband, which they will say is to help keep the hair in check, but instead, the real reason is to, hide their ears. And three, unless it's necessary, don't let anyone find out about Ignil or Grandina. Basically, it just leads to less complicated things as, they were two dragons in hiding, and they went back to hiding, and it'll just be okay for not letting people know as to possibly, get them in trouble or put anyone in danger, you know. And with that, the three boys promised their mother said, do that. Along with Asta and Yuno's promising each other that one day they'll take her to go see the capital just like she always wanted. With her smiling at them and giving the two boys a hug before letting the two boys, technically three, but you get what I mean. As all three boys make their way out of the Hodge village to travel to the Clover Kingdom. Yes, they still run into the Diamond Mage that teaches Asta how to use a sword. Since all his training, Ignil really never assumed Asta to use a sword, so no sword training from the dragon. Now then, while during their walks, again, if you didn't know something interesting about dragon slayers, motion sickness mean that they can't ride on anything. So yeah, in this timeline, they walk there entirely. But halfway there, Yuno does think about something. If the fact that Liebe has anti-magic, is an anti-magic dragon slayer, how the hell is, Asta able to use Liebe's anti-magic swords? Or shouldn't they be canceling each other out? With him asking Asta, if he ever feels drained using them. Asta's saying really no, it's not like as the anti-magic isn't depleting his own magic. I mean, they seem that he can even coat the swords in his own fire magic. So he doesn't really know why. As Liebe says he doesn't know, but he thinks to himself, something that Ignil told him before full-on disappearing, telling him that he'll be able to link his and Asta's souls, basically. Basically, Liebe getting his own flashback, telling him that he'll be able to link Liebe and Asta's souls damn near perfectly, so Asta and him can both combine, so Asta can use his anti-magic to help him. As Liebe's thinking about this, he feels Asta Pokemon on the side of his face, asking him if he knows anything. With Liebe telling him no, he doesn't. That he was thinking, but to just blow it off. So with this continues the boys' journey, training. Which, with that, eventually get to the Diamond Kingdom. Clover Kingdom. Damn it. Sorry, something's in my eyes, guys. Hurts. More so annoying than anything else, but you get what I mean. with them getting to the Clover Kingdom, things start going off as canon, showing the grimoires, interesting ceremonies, stuff like that. Asta does a lot better, but eventually they get to the riding the broom bit. But remember what I said, because of their motion sickness, they physically can't ride brooms, meaning that both Asta and Duke could lose some points in this time. Well, Asta already didn't hit points thanks to the broom flying context, but he loses some points too. He loses points that he had in the original thanks to not being able to, fly on a broom. With that, with that, we get to the fight. Seke does come up to Asta talking shit. With Asta, fight going with someone in canon with Asta breaking his whole little iron defense thing before hitting him with a fire dragon iron fist to the face, breaking his nose and knocking him out. Along with putting the sword back in, people are wondering just what the hell his magic is. He destroyed that barrier with one swing of that sword, but he has fire magic? Why can't they feel his magic? Or is it just weird like that? This fight goes even easier in this timeline. One quick Sky Dragon roar and that royal is sent packing on their ass, basically. So with that, time for the choosing. The Golden Dawn still raise their hand for some of them, all of them still raise their hands for while Asta still gets his hands raised for the Black Bulls. But reason being the same as the canon, they can't really tell what Asta's magic is. Hell, they can't even really sense his magic power. So, he's sent off to the Bat Bulls like canon. This also ends with the two brothers obviously three brothers giving themselves a salute before walking off, and Asta ending up going through the portal with Yami and Finral, And we see things start to play out normally like the anime. Basically, things still going the same. I mean, still coming in. Asta doesn't scream his name like normal. Since, again, more self-awareness too. But, Asta doesn't scream his name like normal, but he does eat that fireball coming to him. With Magna telling him, fireball by challenge, Things go pretty similar to canon. As Libe tells Asta, not to eat in his magic and just hit it with the back front of the sword to, reflect the magic. And that happens, Asta becomes Black Bull, something happens in this timeline. Vanessa goes and gives his headband and gives him a robe. She does try to, touch his scarf real quick, but something that makes her back away is as everyone feels Asta's magic power, right for the first time and feels the slight intensity from it. With Asta calming down for a bit, telling her that it's something really special to him. He doesn't want, anyone to mess with it or touch it in any way. With him saying sorry about possibly scaring him a little bit. With Vanessa telling him she understands if it's something that important to get him to have a look like that, which was one of slight anger when he turned to Vanessa. But the day ends with Asta coming back in with obviously a certain royal looking down, saying her normal lines. Nothing really changes here for that one. Nero still ends up on Asta's head, which she does start pecking Asta in the head a little bit when he gets to his room. He quickly swats her away, though. Also thanks to Asta being able to technically smell her scent, he is able to find out that the bird's a girl. That's about it. With him telling Lee that maybe he should come up with a name. And with that, Asta clocks in for the night while Libe still stays awake as he looks at the bird, telling telling it to drop the act. He isn't stupid. Or his senses also are a lot more than his brothers. So the bird talks, well, narrows. Uh, uh, hmm. Doing here, she can tell he's a devil. With Liu Bei asking her to answer his question first, so she explains what happened. With Liu Bei telling his backstory to her. As he tells her that he won't tell her, Asta if she's worrying about that, telling him that he'll keep her secret. But that he's probably going to need something to call her instead of her actual name. With her saying that she'd be okay with Necro. So, with that, Necro and Liu Bei start talking a little bit more throughout the night. Just getting to know each other. Eventually, Liu Bei turns in for the night, and the same with her. Next morning, Liu Bei tells Asta the name he came up for the bird being Nero, with her landing upon Asta's head, with him going to Asta's shoulder. With this, Asta walks out and does his normal chores, meeting Magna, stuff like that. Things don't really change all this much, really. Asta meets Duel, yada yada. She gets angry. Asta ends up. Well, I guess he finds her. Thanks to the fuck. Okay, that's not coming from us. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but I heard something fall, and I thought that came from outside. It was from the neighbors. Sorry about that pause. But yeah. Basically, things don't really change all this much here. Asta does find a well thanks to her scent this time, though, instead of just randomly stumbling across her while he's taking his walk through the woods. Which, yada yada yada, things happen, Although we finally get to Noel's giant water bubble scene. With Asta talking to Liu Bei and them remembering that thing that they tried to pull. And so Liu Bei fills Asta up with some of his anti-magic, basically overflowing his body with it. And with this, Asta spouts wings and horns, but he quickly flies up to grab Noelle before anyone can see the horns, cutting her free, grabbing her, and slowly descending down. Eventually land with him telling Liu Bei to hurry up and get rid of more of the devil-like features, just in case. With Liu Bei cutting the power down to enough where he just has wings. With after Asta's landing, they all Black Bulls give Noelle the normal talk like in the original. She goes in. Liu Bei noticed that Asta's looking a little out of it a bit, asking what's up. With Asta telling Liu Bei that Noelle looked really pretty. With Liu Bei immediately starting to get on Asta, saying that his little brother has a crush. With Asta throwing some fire at him, and him going back inside, with Liu Bei snickering at him. Now then, things go on normal again the next day until eventually they get their first mention. They're going to the Sashi village. Now then, the fly there is, I guess, the same. Nothing again would really change for this one. Well, I guess besides Asta immediately folding from going on crazy cyclone. With Noelle wondering what's up with him, with Liu Bei having to explain while also slightly motion sick before he gets ready to return back to their grimoire. That they get kind of sick from motion. They get motion sickness thanks to their magic. With him then disappearing into their grimoire, which he doesn't get affected by it in there. Now, eventually they get to the outskirts of Salted Village to deal with the boars. When Acid actually does get off a crazy cyclone, he's immediately able to smell something. With Liebe doing the same as Asta grabs Will and Magna, rushing off. Them screaming at Asta, what is he doing? With him telling him that he has heightened senses. He can smell blood. And thus, eventually they get to Sashi Village, and then, say a minute or two, with Asta almost immediately cutting the fog that's covering the place down. And just before a damaging blow, a real damaging, Asta sees an old man fighting someone. And just before a lethal blow can be done, Asta appears in front, blocking the attack with his hands before punching the person away, telling the old man that he can go sit down now and that he's got this. With him enlightening his hands and him asking who they are. Same stuff that goes on. Time for the fight. Now then, Asta isn't necessarily overwhelmed in this timeline. It's just the fact that he can't go full-on out with people behind him. As well, his fire could hurt them. Although, eventually, when Noelle does get her Sea Dragon's Cradle, oh boy, Asta goes on a fire cell at this point as he immediately rises his power up to somewhat of its highest percentage, which does lead to some of the Ice Mage backing up, as Asta's almost immediately able to burn through any of the ice that comes in contact to him thanks to his aura being too hot. With Asta rushing in front of one of them, hitting him with a good old fire dragon Iron Fist to the gut, sending one flying back and coming for another one with a Fire Dragon Talon, knocking the other two, sending them back and slamming them to the ground. And for the main boss, Asta closes his eyes before hitting him with a Fire Dragon Slayer Roar. That basically encompasses a man's ice, encompasses ice and sends him flying back. With Asta then powering down a little bit, asking Magna if he could throw some of his fire, he could use a snack. With him turning around to see Asta and, a lot of the people from Satse Village, along with Noelle and Magna, amazed at Asta's magic power. As well, they could feel it now as he was letting his power actually run wild a bit. And they felt just somewhat how great mainly Magna and Noelle, as they felt just how somewhat great Asta's magic power is. It's high, to say the least. So yeah, with that happening, the old man is taken care of. His wounds are patched up. Nero goes and gets the stone, poking Asta with it, with him grabbing her and telling him to give it back, with the old man at Sachi Village telling Asta that it'll be fine to take it as payment for saving his life. Although while getting ready to walk back this crazy cyclone, since they kind of left it at the bars, also with Asta deciding to just deal with the boars there. Well, after he gets done with them, Noelle and Magna do come up and ask him what's up with his magic. As, they can't sense his magic normally unless he's, actively in, a high-tense battle. But when they felt it for the first time, it was high, to say the least. But Asta telling him that's just how it's always been, as, he trusts him, but not trusts him enough to break off secrets to him yet. But Asta telling them all that, Asta telling them that it's just kind of how it's always been for him. And that's that. Yes, the Ice Mages still delete themselves. But yeah. So after they go home, the scene switches to somewhere. The Ice Mage coming up telling him what happened. With a man who has his face covered, asking him what the boy's hair color looked like. Well, with the man responding in ash and brown and pink around it. So he quickly pulls up a magic item to see what happened. Seeing that shade of pink hair, along with the fact that it seems like his ears are being tucked away, he thinks to himself, it seems like the spell works, although he wonders if the second one is here. Now, and with that, we get back to the Black Bulls base. Thing is going normal in canon, saying that the Wizard King gave them a star, stuff like that. With Asta realizing that they're in the negatives by 70, with him asking how the hell is that even possible. But that brooding nonetheless about it. Thinking that he could just deal with it. But him also kind of thinking that it'd be even more of a fun challenge. Work them out of the negatives from negative 69 all the way to top 1. Think it'll be fun. He thinks it'll be fun. And with that, the day ends with the Black Bulls just talking, going home in the rooms, stuff like that. Also, it's less sadder for them as well. The old man of Saucy Village is still alive and kicking, thanks to Asta's nose. So yeah, let's get on to one of the really big changes to this arc. The first dungeon. Oh boy, let's get to it. Actually, okay, lovely. 33 minutes. At 33 minutes. You know what? I'll be honest. I'm kind of hungry. And, I want to eat something real quick, and my throat is dry as shit. I haven't drunk anything in a while, I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, I'm going to cut part 1 here. Part 2 will be probably up and ready by tomorrow, along with this, since I'm going to edit it first, take off the unnecessary. But, yeah, so basically with that being said, Mahan 13, out.